And welcome to the Pekin First podcast. My name is Josh, and I get to serve as the online ministries director for Pekin First. And with me is a special guest.
Hi, I'm Emmy Thies, and I get to serve as the Children and Family Ministries Director here at Pekin First.
We have sent Sean to Florida for a few days. He did a lot of preaching over the past week, so we sent him to Florida and see his parents and do a little reset, if you will. This is episode 7 of the Pekin First podcast, and this one is titled Now What? And we will explore what happens after Christmas and all the hype, and we get into January and now what? So, Emmy, at the beginning of each podcast, we do a thing called a personal best. And so in every meeting, I've started attending these, what they call L10 meetings, and we start off every meeting, and it changes the mood of the meeting, if you will. And we give something we've done that week or in the past week or so that is your personal best. So I'm kind of putting you on that spot, but we are. So my personal best this week is we made it through Christmas, and it was a uneventful Christmas. So had a lot of family around, was very blessed to have a lot of family around, with everything going on in my dynamic. It was awesome just to have a worry-free Christmas. So that is my personal best. Do you have a personal best?
I mean, I think I can speak for a lot of moms in that you kind of get through Christmas and you have a big exhale of like, oh, we helped make the magic happen again one more year. So that's probably my personal best. I didn't get too stressed out about everything this year. The more that I have tried to instill in my kids that Christmas is really about Jesus's birth and not all of the other things, the less stress there has been about all of the other things. And I have a kid in high school now, so things just get a little bit easier. And so I would just say making it through, stress-free, having lots of fun. Yep. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. And this is the first episode in 2025. So welcome to 2025. It is going to be a fantastic year, especially here at Pekin First. So in this episode, we're going to touch base on how a new year can mean a fresh start for people. Everybody always seems to have New Year's resolutions and things like that, and how you can start with your faith first, right? And how you can start no matter how you are. I was telling Reverend Pastor Sean, that I read somewhere, and I've seen it several places, that this pastor and a young gentleman are having a conversation, and the young gentleman says, "Pastor, do I have to quit smoking weed to come to church?" And he doesn't think, the pastor says no, and he doesn't think the pastor understands him. And so he goes through, do I have to doobies? He gives all the slang term for weed. And the pastor says, let me ask you a question. Are you clean when you get into the shower? And the guy goes, no, then you do not have to be clean to come to church. So, and I love that quote. That is, come as you are type of quote. So, so you can start fresh with your faith. And sometimes after the holidays, we get a little depressed. You get the January blues, I think is what you referred to them earlier. The January blues, where over the holidays, you have Christmas programs, and we had a bunch here, Christmas programs, and the family that's in town, and just all the things that happen. And then in January, it's just like nothing, right? It is the lull. So a lot of people can get the January blues, can get a little depressed. And so what is next? How do we overcome the January blues? And you know a little bit about this?
Mm-hmm. I struggle a little bit in the wintertime just with depression in general. And it's more the lack of sunlight, the darker days. I really like to be able to be outside. I don't like being cooped up so much, and I don't like so much darkness. That does cause me some depression. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to come out of it. so the way that me and my wife kind of get it, get around it, is we've started using our fireplace. When I bought the house, I never used the fireplace. And then when she came along, she's like, we're using that fireplace. So every year we get a cord of wood, and it's just that, I guess, that light in the darkness, if you will. And it's nice for us to just sit there and either, sip on a drink or whatever and watch a little TV or whatever it is, or we have what's called a snackle box, right? And it's a bunch of vegetables and stuff, and we'll chew on that a little bit. Just having that is comforting to us.
Yeah, and I don't so much mind the really snowy days when the sun is out and it's like that light is reflecting. And so that really helps my mood. Just the sunlight in general helps my mood. But I think I'm a little bit different in that I'm someone that kind of needs that lull after Christmas. I'm someone that needs some downtime. I'm more of a ponderer, I would say. Some people get their energy from being around a lot of other people, and I love being around my family and friends and other people, but I get my energy from just kind of sitting and pondering and taking the time to rest. So I do know that I need that rest time to kind of reset and start to think about, how am I going to be intentional in the next year? What's that going to look like in the next year? So I need January, even though it's hard. Right? So I was thinking about that today, that I know that I can get depressed this time of year, yet I know that it's necessary for me. It's a necessary part of the year to have some downtime and to have that kind of quiet, restful pondering and just setting goals for what I'm going to do in the upcoming year. It really is important for me to go through that season. I
actually, for my work, we set goals every year, and with those set of goals, I actually set my personal goals, right? And then I actually last year set faith goals, and I haven't touched them since May, right? So I was like, I wonder how I did without going over that list every day. And one of the things that I'm learning is that you can set a goal, but you got to have a plan to get there. So I had taken steps on the plans to get there, but just didn't quite get to the goal.
Yeah. And I'm kind of almost an anti-goal person, I guess I would say. When I think about a new year and a fresh start, I don't so much think about it as what do I need to change about myself or how I need to be making myself better, but instead thinking of it as, how am I going to learn myself better? How am I going to love myself better, who I am, who God created me to be? How in the next year am I going to get to know myself in a way that's going to put me where I'm supposed to be for the next step, rather than trying to create the step myself, to opening it up more to what God has planned.
One of my bosses, I guess, if you will, one of the family members that I work for, sent me this class to join, and she said, don't try to reinvent the wheel. And it's on what I do. It's on maintenance tasks and stuff like that. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Learn from what has already been established. And so when you said that, that's what it reminded me of, is I don't need to reinvent myself.
Right.
And maybe if you're taking that step into faith, maybe you do, but it's always an improvement on yourself, right? Even if you are taking that step into faith this year, and that's, one of your quote unquote goals, you don't have to reinvent yourself. God loves you how you are.
Yep.
But we can always improve upon that. So I did pull some scripture for today, and it's 2 Chronicles 15:7. But as for you, be strong and do not give up, for your work will be rewarded. And the reason I pulled that is because we tend to, we go hard at it in December, trying to hit year-end goals, or here at the church, we have so many programs going on. It feels like we don't ever leave this place. And then you just, in January, or in December, you almost want to give up because it's so difficult. And then in January, you just kind of let it go. And don't give up. Reset and go at it. Like you said, you kind of use that time to reset and how am I going to improve myself this year, not reinvent myself.
Right, exactly. Because God made you the way you are for a reason, and something that you may see as one of your downfalls or one of your vulnerabilities is actually there for a reason to help you connect to others better, relate to others better. I think that there is a way to take everything about you, even what you would see as a flaw, and use it for good.
Yes, absolutely. So last week we talked with Sandra about Beautifully Broken, and one of her comments was, everybody is broken, and you can use the pieces that God has assembled and put together to create you. You can use those pieces in your past to help others.
Absolutely.
Nobody's traveled the same. Well, people do travel the same path that I have traveled in either in my life or similar parts of it. So I can help people that have been through my story. People, same with you, same with her, same with Sean. It's a wonderful thing that we can do to help each other through this. So Miss Emmy we call her lovingly Miss Emmy.
I'll take Miss. I'll pretend I'm younger than I am.
So you are director of children and families, the Children and Family Ministry. There we go. And so tell us a little bit about the Children and Family Ministry.
Okay, well, I think actually the new year is a great time to get your kids and your families a little more involved in the life of the church. I do understand that you can have a relationship with God and bring God into your family through everything you do at home, and I appreciate that. I do think there is value in bringing the kids here. So getting them in the life of the church, because they're going to help to create this church family that we have of all generations. And they also grow their Christian friendships with people of their own age that hopefully will last years and years and will continue to help them on their faith journey into the years. So now is a great time. You don't have to have started at the beginning of the school year to get your kids involved in the life of the church. So 2025 is a great way to say, hey, we're starting something new for our family. We get back into Unite Kids and Bible Buddies the second week of January, so the 6th, I believe. On Tuesday nights, we have Bible Buddies, which is for our 3rd through 5th graders. It's like a small group Bible study. So it's going a step further than Unite Kids, where we're all meeting and playing games and maybe doing a Bible story. This is more of a Bible study where we're digging in a little deeper, according to the group, what ages they are, and asking questions and challenging and just taking a deeper look at Bible stories. So Tuesdays, 5:30 to 6:30, we have a group of all girls who are 2nd to 4th grade. So anyone's involved, anyone can be invited to that. But I would say girls
Gotcha.
are really going to want to jump into that one because it's a great group of girls. Then on Wednesdays, we have 5:30 to 6:30 is our Unite Kids, which is pre-K through 2nd grade. Everybody. There's a little bit of everybody on that one, and that is more, you spend your game time, your snack time, and then Bible story. Wednesdays, 6:30 to 7:30 is another Bible Buddies group and it's mostly 5th graders, boys and girls. Gotcha. So if you're looking for the little higher age level, it would be your Wednesday, 6:30 to 7:30. Pretty even number of boys and girls on that.
Gotcha. Right
now we're meeting at Grace United Methodist through the winter, because we're lucky enough to have a gym there that we can run around in the wintertime. So those are ways that you can get your kids in to the life of the church. Now, also, we love to see them on Sunday mornings at Children's Church. So here at Pekin First, that is during the 10 a.m. service. Usually, the kids can start out with their families in the sanctuary, listen to the first few songs, and then come up to Children's Church. Or families, as you arrive, you can bring them right up to the 2nd floor and check them in to Children's Church, and we'll take care of them the whole hour. And then parents just come sign them back out when church is over.
Awesome. Yeah. And then one program that we also have is Rock Kids.
Yes.
And that is at the housing the Pekin Housing Authority, and that happens once a month.
Yes, that is the second Saturday of every month from noon to 1. We would love anyone of any age. You know, when I started helping with Rock Kids, I would bring my daughter, who at the time was like 3, and she came for years just hanging out with the other kids there, helping me with little tasks here and there. So anyone of any age can come help with that. Just contact me if you want to get involved. We would love to have as many people as possible, because the more we can get one-on-one or two-on-one, you know, 2 kids to 1 adult, the more we can relate with those kids, give them our time and our attention, the better the whole program goes.
Absolutely. All right. And then, so I was not aware that we had 2 Bible buddies.
Yes.
I actually have been recording for the welcome message, and I guess I left Wednesday night out. We also have other things going on around the church. We also have Providence Place that's happening down on the corner of 5th and Amanda. And if you have not been a part of or heard about Providence Place, this is I would almost say a community movement. It's not just a church movement. And this is transitional housing for people who are coming out of bad situations, and just trying to get established. That it's sometimes that one step that you help somebody with that just excels them so much. So that is down on the corner of 5th and Amanda. It is a duplex, and we're building said duplex. So any help there, any builders, or if you have some spare time, contact the church office at info@pekinfirst.org, and she will be happy to connect you with the people doing that. So we also have coming up here the first week of January, we'll be starting a new sermon series called Half Truths, and you'll see some plugs for that this week. I just created the graphic, or not the graphic, Gina created the graphic. I created the commercial for it, so that'll be coming up as well. And we'll do, me and Sean will probably do a live maybe here later this week. So, we look forward to seeing you. Don't forget, you can join us in person Saturdays at 5 p.m. and then Sunday mornings 8 a.m. And that is a traditional service. Sorry. Blanked for a second there. A traditional service. And then Sunday at 10, like Emmy said, is our contemporary service, and there is children's church, and that one is in person or online. So you can see that on all of our platforms. And anything else?
I mean, I just wish everyone an awesome 2025 of growing in themselves, growing into who it is God has created them to be, and doing the things God put them here to do. So I just encourage you to continue seeking and growing closer to God.
Yeah. And if you are looking, I was just also going through creating a commercial, and it is hard. We almost every day here at Pekin First, I think there's one day, maybe 2, that we don't have a Bible study or a small group or something you can get involved in. So look up on our website. You get involved, get your kids involved. If it's a goal of yours in 2025, Pekin First is the place to be.
And I will tell you, parents have said they love sitting in on Bible buddies themselves because we talk about the stories in a little bit more simplistic terms. And sometimes you have these revelations as an adult listening to the story in a little bit simpler term that you're like, oh, I totally missed that main point for all these years. So anyone bringing their kids to Bible buddies or Unite Kids is welcome to stay and study and hang out with us.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think I got more when I was helping out with Unite Kids. I think I got more out of that than I did a regular Bible study, because it's so simple.
Yes.
It's broke down simple.
Yes.
So, all right, we'll see you next week. Pastor Sean should be back, and we'll drop an episode probably next Friday. So we look forward to seeing you then. And don't forget, the way I end all my broadcast is God put us here to do great things. So let's go do great things.